Welcome back, everyone. Sorry for the little bit longer break. I had to get some caster carbs in me, but now we are heading into the fifth and final match here between Sheth and Thorzain. The winner takes home $250 and the glory of the first MLG prize fight undercard. So, guys, let's go ahead and jump straight into it as we head to Antigua Shipyard. Wolf, why don't you let us know where our players are at?
I can do that for you, JP. Down at the bottom right, we have our Zerg player from the Team Liquid, looking very strong in the last game. Can he do it again? He is Liquid Sheth. And of course, at the top, we have our Swedish Terran, the Spoon Terran. It is Mao's Thorzain. And I cannot wait to see the conclusion of this series. It's been a long and tough one for both of these two players. We've seen all sorts of styles kind of collide, but it almost seems like in the last game, Sheth kind of had Thorzain's number. He knew what to do. We'll see what he does in this final game.
Yeah, and I mean, last game, he basically won because he outsmarted Thorzain. Thorzain had no idea that third base was up, and Sheth was able just to get so far ahead because of it. So, in the game before that, Sheth won because Thorzain messed up. So right now, this is going to be a very tough match for Sheth. The past two games, he's won because he basically had a one-up on his opponent due to his opponent's inability to scout or to just messing up. So I don't know if Sheth can be able to pull this out, but we'll see here. The thing that he has to really worry about is on Antigua Shipyard. It's very easy as a Terran player in this matchup to sit in the center of the map at that Zelnaga tower and never ever move, and you're just gonna have the same problem that you always ran into.
Yeah, and we just saw several times in the games that Sheth lost that he often kind of attacked into his opponent over and over again, cost ineffectively. If he does that again, he's going to find himself in a ton of trouble. He cannot afford to do that, especially not on this map where there are, like you mentioned, the center watchtower is really easy to hold. It's really easy to kind of siege up next to the third base depending on how you do it, so you have to be very careful with how you attack into that Spoon Terran.
Yeah. So here's the 15 hatch going down for Sheth. Nothing really out of the ordinary. And it looks like Thorzain is not going to be doing any 2 racks play or anything like that. He's just going for a standard Spoon Terran build here. We'll really see what he does, as we mentioned in the third match. Once those Hellion comes out, will he add on a second factory? Will he go pure Mac? Will he go in for a third CC? That is really going to be the crucial point in this match.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's going to be really curious to see what if, for example, Thorzain does something really weird. What if he goes for a one-base Banshee play and gets aggressive like that? Something like that would really throw Sheth off guard. Who knows what he's really going to do? Knows that Sheth is playing super safe in this final game, sending his drone around the back of his hatchery just to make sure there's no bunkering going on there, no SCVs are hiding. He wants to be absolutely sure that he's going to play a normal standard game, no early disadvantages.
Now, I wonder if Thorzain will scout for that third base, or I even wonder if he knew that it went down as early as it did last game. Not sure if he watched the replays or if the players talked about it in between these maps. So we'll see how he really reacts to that last match in this one.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because with the timing he saw it, there's no way to know for sure if he knew that it was a fast third or not. It's very hard to say. There's the type of pressure that we saw from Sheth. It's the type of pressure you could see from 2 bases. Everything that he saw kind of leads him to believe that. And we're going to see basically the exact same build we've seen from Thorzain on most of these maps. He's going to go for a command center before the factory, then as the reactor in the factory on the way, he gets a third command center. He's been doing this build time and time again, and so far it's been working pretty well for him. We'll see if Sheth can take an early lead, though, and try to kind of capitalize on the advantages he had last game again in a different way.
So smart here for Sheth, just sending out these 4 links, denying any mining from that natural, because he knows that his opponent is going to open up with the Hellions, and if he gets in there 10 or 15 seconds before, might not seem like the biggest thing, but it actually really is when you're opening up with these builds. Hellions are 100 minerals, and they're pretty expensive, especially when you want to start building another command center or another Rex like Thorzain's actually doing right now.
Yeah, and Thorzain's actually going to go ahead and take a second barracks here. I think we're going to see basically the exact same build that we saw before. He's going to switch one of the tech labs with the factory, start siege tank production after just a few Hellions. He's going to not only use these Hellions to take the watchtower, he's going to try to deny creep and scout for that third base. This is just such a strong Terran versus Zerg opener. It looks like Thorzain really prefers it. He's practiced it a lot. These Hellions will be denied by Sheth's Queens, but he can't stop the Hellions from seeing that he has no third base.
Yeah. And the Queens there, of course, denying those two Hellions. And it looks like, is he producing? Yes, he actually is. So with these Hellions, Thorzain's just going to sit right outside and try to deny the creep tumors as much as possible, getting both of those there. One of them was canceled by Sheth, the other one killed by Thorzain. But with these additional Queens, already up to 4, Sheth is going to be able to deny any early attack from Thorzain because of the amount of creep that he's going to have spread. It's very easy to get a Ling surround or even a Baneling surround if Sheth does throw down that tech.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get any tumors on the low ground on this map, you've already accomplished so much. That's so difficult to do. Getting those tumors on the low ground means you can put spines down there as well if you want to. The first wave of Hellions are going to move out and see this. Now, meanwhile, as I mentioned, the siege tank production has started. Now, my favorite part about what Sheth is doing right now, though, is that he's making the macro hatch rather than trying to take the third base right now. He knows he needs that extra larva. He's absolutely going to need it, especially against the Thorzain style where he gets the third command center. He needs the larva. He can't have it at the actual third base, so he's going to go ahead and make it in his main base. I really like that choice.
And the Hellions are just picking off the creep tumors that they can. Meanwhile, back at home, we see 2 engineering bays going down. So we're going to be seeing a very bio-heavy play here from Thorzain. He might move out once the second tank finishes here over at the factory in the main base. Siege mode about to be finished here in just a couple seconds. Adding on that 4th gas, probably will take his 3rd here as well in just a matter of moments.
Yeah, absolutely will. I mean, he needs to do it as soon as possible. Something to note right now that's a little bit surprising is we see a lot of Zerlings being made for Sheth. Now, I wonder what he thinks he's going to accomplish with these. It may be him trying to be defensive. He may be a little bit nervous. His Zerling speed isn't quite done yet. He's getting 1-1. But to try to move these Zerlings out against this many Hellions is going to be a mistake. And look at this. He actually finds the Zerlings, and he's going to take them out. All of them, in fact.
Yeah, and that is not good for Sheth, as basically Thorzain is preparing for an attack here, especially taking out as many Lings as he just did, throwing down so many racks back at home. What we might see Thorzain do here is go for a small push, try to kill as much as he can, and then follow up with another attack, more and more Marines just adding on for that final death blow.
Yeah, I think that you're right. This is such a common strategy to see in this matchup, and with the amount of production facilities he's adding, it looks like he does want to power up to this kind of SC Foyu style rally across the map with Marines, sort of attack. If I don't kill him with this one, I'll kill him with the next one. I'm just going to keep reinforcing. He's going to catch some of these Zerlings with his Hellions again. And Sheth just needs to be a lot more careful with his Lings against these Hellions. It's been a consistent problem for him in this series. He's just lost Lings left and right to Hellions. You cannot afford to do that. That's so much larva loss. That's so many resources dumped basically into these Hellions for free.
Yeah, exactly. Here come the reactors on all of those racks. The third base trying to go down. He's going to have to wait for that creep to be cleaned up there. But Thorzain does have some bunkers ready. Does have map control still with these Hellions. And it looks like Sheth is going to go straight into what we've seen him do in the past couple of games with that double Spire play here. Also already having +1/+1 on this huge amount of Lings, but he's very late on his third base. I think this is the latest that we've seen Sheth take a third in this series.
You're right, and it's a little bit concerning. He is getting as many upgrades as he can. He's getting his 2/2 upgrades. He's getting his Zergling or Overlord drops and speed upgrades as he gets his Spire. He's adding 12 drones. He's kind of doing everything as he can. While he moves out with these Lings, he's really reliant upon this cheap Zergling force. But his opponent sees it. He knows it's coming. He's always prepared, and Sheth is not able to put a lot of pressure on. I like, though, that he's attacking so often. Even though he's losing a lot of Lings, he's not doing a lot with these attacks. He's pushed Thorzain all the way back across the map. He doesn't want Thorzain to be at the watchtower. He doesn't want him to be knocking on his third base's doorstep. He wants to have Thorzain back as far away as possible so he can get that third base saturated, so he can get these upgrades out.
And here we see a double drop about to occur. One in the north, one in the south. Third base and the third base and the main base are being the ones to attack. But some Lings actually being thrown out here, as if Sheth kind of knows the timing of this. I'm not sure if he saw that one in the south, but here comes the drop at the north. And if this can cripple Sheth's economy, there's going to be a follow-up attack with 2/2 on the bio force of Thorzain. It's just going to be so devastating.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, with all the reactors you were talking about earlier, the Marine count is getting so high. He's up in 47 right now, making about 9 at a time. He's getting +1 for his siege tanks as well. The Marines have stim, combat shields. The drop that's going off in the main base looks like it is going to eventually be cleaned up. He's nice transfuses on that spine, buying as much time as possible. Wow.
Yeah, it's still a lot. I think, was that 3 transfusions that went down or 2? It was a lot regardless. And right now, actually, Sheth is going for a big drop here with a bunch of links into the main base. 2-2 is very close to being finished. If he can take that out, it's going to really, really do well, as now we see Thorzain moving out across the map.
What's so important, I think, is if he gets the engineering base before 2-2 finishes, that would be huge. And he is going in now. Will he go for the engineering base first? Only time will tell.
One of the Overlords is going to fall with about 5 links still left in it. He's going for the SCVs primarily. Has not gone for those engineering base just yet. It looks like he will not, as 2-2 is probably going to finish there. A tank coming in to clean up with the SCVs. Actually, he's going on hold position and letting the remaining forces clean that up. But here's that great wall of Thorzain that we see as the 4th base has started right here next to the Zelnaga Tower. And if he's able to take over that Zelnaga Tower, it's going to be really, really hard for Sheth to be able to do anything.
Yeah, indeed it is, man. He lost those links without really doing a lot of damage. Even the depot he almost killed is being repaired in the main base now. The engineering base finished their 2-2 upgrade, so both players are, of course, even on 2-2, which would have been something that would have been great for Sheth to have. He's getting 2-2 for his air again. That's something he's consistently done that a lot of Zerg players are not doing right now, is getting that double spire, getting those air upgrades early on. But 3 Thors at a time coming out for Thorzain here, and he's got his gas in the center, as you mentioned. He's got that nice wall set up, and Sheth's creep spread isn't even as good as it could be. So if Thorzain just wants to move out, he can. He's basically maxed. He's 50 supply up. Sheth is not in a good position here.
Yeah, and you can see him slowly start to take the center of this map here with the Marines. The siege tanks right behind it. The Mutalisks are coming into the planetary. And now they're going to start focusing down the mules. A good choice there, as there are all the mules actually just landing for Thorzain. And the Thors are still back coming down the ramp over at the Natural. He's doing a pretty good job here with these mutas, but now he's going to have to run away because the Marines are just coming in.
They're stemming in, and he's done a decent amount of damage here. This is not a composition I don't think Thorzain expected to encounter. He's actually going to fight with his mutas again here, losing quite a few of them, though. Those are so expensive. Sheth cannot afford to be doing this right now. Even though he's going to clean up the Marines, he's lost so many mutas as a result.
Yeah, there was a missed rally down here at the 4th base of Sheth, as the drones are rallied all the way across and the units not rallied anywhere. Marines are going in, but at the same time, it's a huge distraction as Thorzain is pushing forward. If he can get in between the 3 bases here for Sheth, it is going to be near impossible for him to engage into that army.
Yeah, all he really needs to do now is siege up in Thorzain fashion. If he can clean up a little bit more of this creep, he can definitely get into position to end this game. Sheth going for a huge counterattack, trying to catch reinforcements and perhaps even attack this planetary. It looks like there are just enough units though, and a huge Thor hits on those mutas. That may be the nail in the coffin, JP, as now Sheth has no more power with this attacking force.
Got a lot of Banelings out on the map, and are they going to be wasted on that Thor? Okay, no, he does pull them away. There is a small counterattack, but it looks like that got cleaned up. So many few mutas here. Only 6 out on the map. Thorzain just sitting in the center of the map. I mean, I don't really know what Sheth can do now.
He basically has nothing left to do, JP. There's no real power for him to counterattack anymore. He's losing more mutas by mistake. His mutas control this game has been, subpar, basically, because he's dealing with so much pressure from Thorzain. A ton of Banelings being lost for free as well in the middle of the map, and I think that's going to be it. GG.
Yeah, so good games. Thorzain taking on the first undercard prize fight here, earning himself $250. Not bad. Those were some incredible matches. Thinking back, I think game 2, that was on Daybreak. That was an awesome, awesome game where both players were just so unwilling to commit to an attack. That was probably my highlight match or map of the match. What was yours, Wolf?
I would say I really liked the Roach aggression game on Tal'Darim. I liked the kind of choice for Sheth to kind of man up and say, I think I can kill him here. I think I'm going to do that, and I really like that aggressive choice. It's a hard choice to make, especially with a player like Sheth, whose style goes so against that a lot of the time. To just say, you know what, I'm going to man up. I'm going to do this. I think you're behind. I think I know what your next move is going to be. I'm going to take a fairly large risk here and commit to this attack, but I think it'll work, and it did. And I like that kind of
Yeah.
aggressive choice.
And I feel like in that last game, had Chef have controlled his Mutalisk a little bit better, he lost so many there to just a small group of Marines in the center. That attack might have gone a little bit differently because Thorzain would have not been able to move up so close to the three bases that he did. So some minor mistakes for Sheth there. I love the fact that he adapted to Thorzain's play in that fourth game on Shakuras Plateau. So make sure to tweet at both those players for the awesome games. But guys, coming up next is our title fight. MKP going up against Oz. Don't go anywhere because after this commercial break, it all goes down right here. We'll see you guys then.